In our previous lesson, we learned about rhythm in music, and there are times in music when we actually don't want to make a sound, so we need to actually have silence, and that's indicated in the rhythm by a rest. A rest doesn't have a pitch because it isn't a note, it's a period of silence. So just to remind you, here we have 4 quarter notes, and we would clap them like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 notes in 4 beats. Next we have the same thing, 4 beats and 3 notes. 1, 2, 3, 4. So there were 4 beats. 1, 2, 3, 4. The first 3 beats were notes. 1, 2, 3, 4. The 4th beat was a rest. This is called a quarter rest, and just like quarter notes, there are 4 of them in 4/4 time because they have the same length value as a quarter note. You can play this on the piano like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Noticing that there was no sound on the 4th beat. All right, so here we have another example including rests. You would count it like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. And you would play it like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, so here we have quarter note, quarter rest, quarter note, quarter rest. Still 4 beats. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2 of the beats are notes, and 2 of the beats are rests. Next we have another 4-beat example, and it goes like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we have note, rest, rest, note. 2 quarter notes, 2 quarter rests. So they look a bit like a lightning bolt, and they're called a quarter rest. You'll also remember the half note. Half note holds for 2 beats. 1, 2, 3, 4. Or played. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now just as we had a rest that was the same length of time as a quarter note, we also have a rest that's the same length of time as a half note. So this half note holds for 2. This is a half rest, and it rests for 2. So we would clap this example like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's a 2-beat rest, and it looks like a hat. You know, like a snowman hat, black top hat. So you can see the line is on the bottom, and the square block is sitting on top of the line. In music, this is written on the 3rd line of the staff. So if I just was to draw a little bit of a staff here, you would see that the rest is written on line 3, and that the rest itself is found in space 3. So I'm just kind of explaining this in detail because there is another rest that looks a lot like this one. So it's important that you really know what this one looks like, because the other one looks a lot like it. And we need to know that this one looks like a hat that sits on line 3. All right, so again, it's called a half rest because it's the parallel to the half note. Half notes hold for 2, half rests rest for 2. Another example. Here we have half rest, half note. We would clap it like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. And we would play it like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Moving on, we have an example with 4 beats in it. The first 2 beats are a half rest, and the 3rd beat is a quarter rest. So that's 2 plus 1. We have now 3 beats of silence, followed by a quarter note, which is a 1-beat note. So it would go like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Or it would play like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, moving on. Another example which has 4 beats in it. In this case, beat 1, quarter note. Beat 2, quarter rest. Beats 3 and 4, half rest. And again, it looks like a top hat. Hat, half, 2 beats. You would play it like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Or you would clap it like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Here's just another example using the half rest, and we've got an 8th note in here just for fun, so we would clap beat 1, beat 2, 3, 4, just like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Or we would play it like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, moving on, we have another kind of note. I told you about most of the notes in the previous video, but this one has a dot. Sometimes we want a note that isn't 1, 2, 4, 8, or 16 proportions of a measure. We want one that holds a bit longer. So this is called a dotted half note. So you can see the half note and the dot. So dotted half note is a longer half note. Anytime you see a dot written after a note, that extends the length of the note by half of the value of the note itself. So half note is worth 2 beats, and then there's a dot after it that's worth 1, because 1 is half of 2. So now the note is worth 2 plus dot, so 3. So a dotted half note, anytime you see it, you can calculate it, but you could just remember it's worth 3 beats. So you would clap it like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Or you would play it like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. And here we have our same friend, dotted half note, and he now appears with a quarter rest. So you would clap it like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. And here's our dotted half note again, counting on beat 2. So beginning with the start of the measure, we'll have 1, 2, 3, 4. And this same rhythm again, only with a rest of silence on the first beat. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, leading up to longer and longer note values, we have a whole note. We remember this, it holds 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And we have a rest to indicate a whole rest. This is the one that looks like a half rest, but it's different. You can see the difference right away as soon as you knew that there was a difference. The half note, or the half rest, is a top hat that sits on the line. This is a whole rest. A whole rest does not really look like a hat. It is hanging from the line. So you can see the line here, you can see the rest hanging from the line. I like to imagine the line being longer, and if I had a golf ball rolling along the ground, it would fall into the hole because I'm such a good golfer, and it looks like a hole. This one, my golf ball would bump into. And this one, the whole rest, is like a hole in the ground. So both of these types of rests are in space 3 of your music. So if you had a staff written out, you have 5 lines. The whole rest hangs down from line 4, and it's still found in the 3rd space of the music. So when we had our quarter rest, it was in the 3rd space of the music, but it was sitting on line 3. So just make sure that you can know the difference between the half rest and the whole rest. So now you've learned 3 different kinds of rests: the quarter rest, the half rest, and the whole rest. Thanks for watching.